Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome back. My name is Joe Josh. I go by iChart Daily. Today's Thursday, September 26, 2024. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you a window to my thought process and what I think potentially could be playing out in Bitcoin over the next couple of weeks. Sorry for being MIA. Myself, my entire family, kids, whole house, everyone's been really under the weather. This is the first time that I actually sound normal and can breathe out of my nose. So, we're here. Get your notepad. It's been a while. Buckle up. If you remember me saying many, many moons ago when this Bitcoin rounding bottom was happening, I said the rounding bottom eventually will come to an end. The rounding bottom usually forms a cup and handle, right? Now, what is Bitcoin forming right now? The handle. The handle has bounced off of major support. The handle has bounced and formed bullish divergence on the indicators. And this is what I look at, right? I look at long-term trends first, weekly, 2-week, 3-week, monthly, and see what the indicators and the trends is telling me to figure out if we have a play on the shorter time frames. And we do, right? Price has double bottomed at the 53,486. Actually, it formed an inverse head and shoulder, right? We had one low, a lower low, or higher low. The most important thing right now is this purple line, right? Purple line, we have been making lower highs every single time, right? This high, this high, this high, this high. This is the first time that we made a higher high. Now, a couple rules that I try and imprint into your skulls. One, trend lines go with trend indicator, especially on longer time frames. Okay, I am a swing trader, so I look for the overall trend to change and I try and find the highs and the bottoms at this point in my life. Right, I don't day trade anymore. I don't have the time for it. So when on a weekly time frame, you could see the MACD is the trend indicator, and we are on the cusp of a golden cross. Well, trend lines go with trend indicator, meaning trend lines were going down for the longest time, right? Trend lines were going down for the longest time. Well, eventually trend lines need to be voided and deleted if trend lines are broken and trend indicator starts going the other way. So what do we have on our side? One, the weekly MACD is forming this golden cross, right, which is when the shorter time moving averages goes above the longer time. That's just a bullish sentiment across the board, whether it's moving averages, RSI, MACD, etc., right? Whenever you have shorter breaking above longer, it's bullish momentum. It's also forming above the zero line, which is when the histogram goes positive or negative. You can see here golden cross, but below the histogram in section B. Not the same impact on the price as it would above. What that means is the next candles that are going to be forming for the next couple of weeks are going to start retesting the previous highs, meaning this one already broke. So the next resistance is 68,219 to the wicks of 69,766, which lines up with the next candles of 69,646, and then once that's broken, we're heading to 71,471, breaking the uptrend because trend lines go with trend indicator. Now, the first thing that I notice is this low here, and I'm going to assume that we could potentially do something like this, top, come down, and then form a bottom right here, like that 61,000, which would be way higher to the 54,000, which is way higher to the 49,000. And then I have to make a trend line that is going up because trend lines go with trend indicator. It's very simple. So we're waiting for the top. Now, another thing that is very bullish for Bitcoin is for the longest time, the RSI was bearish. What does that mean? When the RSI was making higher highs, higher lows, we were bullish. Once we broke the moving average, broke the 70, then came back to use it as resistance and formed a micro double top. Right here was bearish 101, get out, open short. We had room to bleed. Room to bleed where? Back to the 50, which is the dotted line which separates section A and B. If you have a bottom and a continuation back into section A, you have a bullish continuation to the upside. If you have a continuation to the downside and you see rejection by the 50 and we have room to bleed, it's a continuation to the downside. Now, the most bullish thing was right here. We had an RSI golden cross. You could see rejection, 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 golden cross. RSI is usually the first mover between the MACD, the RSI, and the moving averages. So if something bullish was to happen on the RSI, I'm assuming the next candle that prints is going to golden cross. Not a fake out, meaning we get rejected by the green and come back down. I think it officially breaks to the upside. So with that being said, if you remember me saying this chart, the monthly chart, we did break down, we did break below the moving average. Now the most important thing is, do we go back up and form a lower high to the 76,617? Now, why do I remain somewhat bearish? Well, because if we go up, and once again, I do think we go to like 85 to 95,000. The issue is if we price-wise go up, but indicators go down, that's not a bullish movement, right? You want to see higher highs price-wise, higher highs RSI-wise as well. So I will be watching that, but I remain extremely, extremely bullish for the short term, showing me that once again we could go easily up this 4 to 7% and then back to like 10% here, 72,000, which means we're on the cusp of alt season, right? A lot of the alts, not to get off topic, but a lot of the alts haven't pumped yet, right? If I just go to XRP versus Bitcoin, this chart unfortunately is coming back down, looking at like a double bottom back to this 0.0722, showing us that the trend is changing for the better and we are forming a macro same low or even a higher low, because once again trend lines go with trend indicator and we're on the cusp of everything pointing to the upside. A lot of the alts versus Bitcoin haven't pumped yet, so I do think Bitcoin pumps, like I said, to, let's just do this. I posted this in not this one, I posted this in the Discord the other day. Shout out to you guys, all my supporters. I would take the fib, go from the high 73,969, bring it to the low here. Excuse me. I would do that. This is the tippy top, 89,000. And there's always one in the middle. So I would say 80 to 85,000, plan accordingly. I'm curious to see at that point if the weekly RSI is extremely, extremely oversold. Once again, back towards the 70. And at that point, are we at 80, 85,000? And this looks like something like, come on, man. This looks like something like this. We could go all the way back up to 85. If it's not higher than 88, it's a lower high on the macro, which is hidden bearish divergence. If we break that, then forget it. We're breaking to 100,000. That's the video. Love you guys. Short term, I mean, you could see here, right, this short term pattern is playing out, right? We came down, bounced, came back up, bounced, came back up. We're seeing resistance where we saw resistance before. That's 65,000. If we were to go up, we're going right to 68 to 69.8. And at that point, we're making that higher high to show me that we can make a higher low. Higher high is going to be here. Once again, 67 to 69. Swing low. I think it comes back down and retests these lows here of 58 to 60, which is once again way higher than the 53 to 54, which is way higher than the 49 to 50, showing me that this could be yet another, again, continuation to the upside, and the next one takes you to 71 to 72,000. That's the video. Short, sweet, simple, bet with longer time frames. Once again, if the long-term trend is bullish, long-term trends predict short-term outcomes. That's like rule number one. And that means that if the long-term trend, meaning that the weekly, like this, if you're seeing dark blue, everything going up, we just golden cross at the 50, room to grow. We went from 29,000 to 45,000, right? I mean, it's very simple. Golden cross, room to grow. We went from 41,000 just to 52, even to 69,000. So we have room to pump, baby. Alerts. I would set an alert. Let's go to the two. Let's go to the daily. We already broke, but you can see we're getting a little bit of selling pressure at this wick right here at the 65. I'm going to put an alert right here at the 65,788. Your play would be from here to here. Little quick 4% long. If you start seeing the top on the daily, right, you can still see we're bullish, right? Because the RSI is still bouncing above the moving average, right? We had break, bullish, continuation, room to grow until the 70. Then you'd want to see the hidden bearish, knowing that the short term consolidation is on the play, right? Right here when you break back down. That's the video. Love you guys. Comments, questions, concerns, leave it in the comments section. Besides that, we're good for weeks because the weekly hasn't even broken yet. So if you have weeks of bullish momentum, you should be able to easily find a couple of green days within the week because they'll be outweighing the red days. Enjoy.